So thanks for joining us today. We're going to do a quick session. This was actually a request from a few people to look at property management. So we have property managers sitting in the office at the moment, but the idea is, I suppose, everyone can be a property manager, at least from the front end. So I think what's interesting about that is there's not that many agencies out there that combines property management with sales. In most agencies, salespeople are salespeople, property managers are property managers, and they don't talk to each other. What people don't realize is property management is a great lead generator. Because what happens in real estate, there's a few people that are new that just joined us, but what happens in real estate is obviously the property manager and his or her company will be the first one to be engaged to sell a property. And that's the idea, right? And so what we want to do today is to cover very quickly 5 topics. Why do property management? And I guess property management in some sense, in terms of the legislation, paperwork is much, much more than sales. I think Lonnie Hetty agrees. But having said that, because we've got people sitting in the office, and I've got people in Sydney looking after trust accounting, receipting, chasing people for payments, that kind of stuff, the tasks become much easier. So the first thing is this, and I went to a property developer networking thing yesterday. So I go to these quite often for obviously property development, but also for listings and contacts. And this guy who did the presentation started talking about this, and I thought it was quite interesting. So this is from Rich Dad Poor Dad. And what's interesting about this it's called the cash quadrant, the cash flow quadrant. And what that is on the left-hand side, you've got employees and self-employed people, active income. The problem with employees and self-employed people is you are selling your time in return for money. And the question is, how much time or effort do you have? We have a staff member here, her partner is currently very sick in hospital. If she doesn't work, she doesn't get paid. Very simple, And that's the problem with that is obviously, is you only have so much effort, so much time. And so, even if you're self-employed, a lot of self-employed people work in their own business. So the income's active. On the right-hand side, however, oh, yes, we're here. Okay. Oh, okay. Is passive income. And this is where, I think where property management comes in. Because in sales, as everyone knows, if you don't sell something, you don't get paid. That's why I suppose the turnover is so high in real estate is because, salespeople, they do 3-month trial at, a major franchise network. They don't make the cut and they get fired, right? Whereas in property management, every month income comes in. Doesn't matter what happens, and especially with the model that we have here, all you have to do is to do 3 reports a year, pretty much. And then the rest we can do in the back end. And that's a great way to build passive income. And that's cash flow. And I did some calculation. If you have, say, 10 properties, you're looking at maybe $1,500 of cash flow a month. The reason for that is because, we'll talk about this later, there's various ways to get paid in property management. Not just the regular income coming in, but when you find a tenant, you get paid. So a letting fee. It's usually 1 week plus GST. I think in every single state there's no difference. And most landlords are happy to pay that. So that's the first thing. So obviously the reason why I think a lot of people are requesting this is because on this side here, even if you don't make sales, and I have to say, look, selling, sometimes, the market's good, sometimes not, but property management protects you from not having income coming in. General introductions to property management. There's a few things you can do. Manage your own properties. The good thing about property management also, I don't know if everyone knows about this, but on the cash flow statement, income and balance sheet, when you go to a bank and you borrow money, they look at 3 things. They look at your profit and loss, how much money is coming in, how much money is going out. They look at your balance sheet, how much stuff you own in terms of assets and liabilities on credit cards. And thirdly, your cash flow statement, obviously how much cash you have in your account as liquid assets. The thing about property management is the properties you manage belongs to you. You own the assets. And that's a huge thing, because when you go to the bank to borrow money, just like using your house as a collateral, you can actually use the properties you manage as collateral because there are assets. You use the assets to borrow money. It increases your borrowing capacity. That's the great thing about property management. A lot of people say, well, property management is very little money, it's a lot of hard work. Well, I don't think that's true. If you have one, yeah, maybe it's not much money, but if you have 10 or 20 or even 30 or more, that's a great income and a great asset base. It's your asset. We manage it for you. It's a 60-40 split. If you don't want that, that's okay. It's not a problem. But the 60-40, the 40 is for the back end. The 60 goes to you, and that's every single time we get paid. So usually, we have all the software. I was speaking to another agent this morning, sitting beside me. But a lot of people don't realize we have a lot of resources online. So if you go to agents' websites, from the main page, it'll take you to agents.oxbridge.com.au. There's actually a setup tab and a resource tab, which I don't know if you've seen this, but we have all the software. So I can tell you what we do to manage properties. Obviously, gone are the days where, we literally get a landlord to sign a form or the tenant to sign a form. We use DocuSign. Everything's DocuSign now. We've recently just sold a property in Albury with Donga. Never seen the seller, never seen the buyer, never seen the tenant. Everything's just signed electronically. Pretty funny. Anyway, so in terms of property management, we have obviously RP Data. We have in the back end we have what's called Property Tree, which is the trust accounting software, and we've got that in every single state. And so what happens is, just to give an idea, if you find a property, we will manage it. Property Tree sends updates, and it is our job in the back end to chase people for payments. The biggest thing about property management, the risk, I suppose, is arrears. Because technically speaking, if tenants don't pay, we cannot pay the landlord. A lot of times, I think bad property managers cannot handle arrears because you get squeezed in the middle. Because landlords complain, where's my money? And then you have to explain, well, it's actually not my fault. It's actually the tenant's fault. And then the landlord blames you. It's your job to chase out the payments. Where is it? Worst case scenario, property management, look, is handled properly. We always have bond. Always take a 4-week bond. Something happens, see you later, thank you very much. We'll go to the bond court or the RTA, whatever. We'll take your bond because you haven't paid. Very easy. Full license, again, look, I've always said this, full license allows you to do more things than you can with a salesperson, or in some states, I think Tony Victoria, sales rep down there, agent's rep in New South Wales, just an agent's license. It allows you to do more. So PM, so who's responsible for what? So if you're the agent on the front end, you are responsible for the prospecting, and we've got some techniques. I did a session a few weeks ago on driving maps in sales, exactly the same. Prospecting, I think that's the next slide, is much easier in property management than it is for sales, especially with our model. So our model is advertising. Look, if you look at traditional agencies, and I'll pick a major brand, say LJ Hooker, what I mentioned right away. Say LJ Hooker, what they do is they would charge people an advertising fee. Now, I've seen the schedule for some of these companies. It's crazy what they charge. They could charge $150 just on the internet, another $150 for photography, another $99 for the board, and blah blah blah. And then they charge for extension contracts, renewal fees, and all this rubbish. The model we have here is we are straight talking. We will, if we can charge you, no problem, advertising fee. But I can tell you for a fact, we do not pay anything to realestate.com extra to put our rentals up. Unlike sales, right, where we get charged per listing, there's a fee, small fee, and rentals we do not charge for realestate.com. So we go to 45 different websites, so for us it's free. There's no marginal cost. So even if someone says to you, hey, I don't want to pay this advertising fee, it's rubbish, you can say, fine, we'll list it, no problem, sign this form, and then we'll take it back, we'll put it up on the internet. You can do that through your CRM. It takes 2 seconds to put up the CRM. You should choose new residential rental listings, and you can put it up. Very, very easy.
So sorry, can I just clarify that?
Yeah.
So say if I've got a listing for rental,
Yeah.
I can just put up realestate.com and don't have to pay a penny?
Correct. Correct. So, I saw, what happens with a lot of agencies, they absorb, they get the advertising and they make money on that. Because technically it goes to trust, but what happens is that money goes to the company because they don't have to pay realestate.com or whatever. Just to give you an idea. So if you want to charge them $75, that's yours. You keep it. I don't want to make money off advertising. It's not our business. Our business is to obviously manage properties for people. But a lot of companies do that. A lot of companies make the money on advertising using a different company vehicle. So it might not be called LJ Hooker. It'll be called some other marketing company, because I know for a fact Coronas does this a lot. They have another company which is another name, and they charge Coronas the marketing, and they make the difference. It's that kind of stuff. It's an age-old tactic. Look, if you can get VPA for rentals, good for you. That money goes straight to you. Because I'm not going to charge anyone for rentals to put it up because it's unethical. I don't get charged for realestate.com, so why should I charge you? Domain's the same thing. I get a flat fee every month. For rentals, it's not a problem. Unlimited number of rentals. I think that's fair. You get to keep that VPA. If you have the ability to get VPA out of people and they, pay you that VPA, you keep that. Another thing that's very, very important now is determine the most appropriate type. As I said, we're a little bit different. We can do a lot of rentals. We do straight lets. So basically, one tenancy contract, one property. They call different documents in different states. Queensland is called general tenancy. In New South Wales, Victoria, it's called something different. So just a general contract. We do what's called rooming, which is becoming very, very, very popular. It's a huge growth area for us now. But if you find a property and you speak to the landlord, you have to decide which one is the best for the landlord. Because, for example, you could end up with more money in a straight let than you can in a rooming. Because in a rooming, technically speaking, you have to pay for the bills. The landlord has to pay for the bills. So only works if you have a lot of rooms. If you have a three-room penthouse or something that we have right now in the city centre, that works better in the rooming than a straight let, because who has $1,200 a week? All right, this particular property I'm thinking of, we're managing right now in the city centre, 3-bedroom penthouse. We get $1,200 a week. Straight let $850. So even minusing the cost of the bills, it works out to be better sense. The third type is also very, very popular, but it depends on location. Look, this one, it's definitely a growth area for us. Hotel management, a short-term letting structure. We have all the software, Airbnb, hotels.com. We have a software, it's called Update 24/7, which is a bit like Eagles. It manages all the hotel websites for us. So one button, and it goes to, 25 listings. Hotel What If, bookings, hostel.com. Airbnb.com. Hotels is interesting. The number one thing about hotels is no bond. If something goes wrong, and there's no checks either, right? There's only very, very brief checks. Airbnb does a quick verification of the ID, and that's it. Hotels.com doesn't even bother. Anyone can book on hotels.com as long as they pay for it. And the problem with that is risk. Right? In rooming and straight lets, we take a bond. In hotel, you got to be very careful. If you have, slightly bad luck and someone books a hotel room and trashes the room, you got a problem you have to deal with. So, I always say insurance for landlords. Before you sign anyone up, there's a huge form, and I will show in a second the listing documentation. Does the landlord have landlord insurance, number one? And if you want to convert to a rooming or on a hotel management, is that invalidated by that kind of rooming or hotel management structure? You know, is landlord insurance covered? Because, you know, in this industry, as you know, when something goes wrong, it really does go wrong, especially with property management. Because you could be ending up with a lot of money. We do have indemnity insurance. We have a $10 million indemnity insurance policy, you know, just in case to cover you guys. But look, you know, the landlord is not happy about that, and his apartment gets trashed, we have a major problem. But having said that, look, you know, hotel management, depending on the market, does do very well. We have a few hotels management right now. It does do very well. We have a few structures we can have. One of them is obviously a commission. So it depends on state, it depends on city. You know, the commission structure we have in general at the moment for hotels is 15% plus GST. For rooming for us in New South Wales, Victoria is 10% plus GST. And a straight let usually it's 8% plus GST, but it depends on the city. In Sydney, for example, in Campbelltown, we're getting 4. We're lucky to get 4. You know, it's so competitive down there. But it depends. So that's the general commission we charge. The second type for commission is potentially more lucrative, and that is give the landlord a certain amount each month and keep the rest. And that has worked very, very well in our favor sometimes, depending on the property. And that you just need to be careful because you need to do an assessment of whether that will work. You know, because obviously if the landlord wants a crazy amount of money per month, you could be running around with, you know, 60-70% occupancy. At the end of the day, you might get nothing because, you know, you have to pay the landlord plus pay bills plus this plus that. It just depends. I think feasibility is very, very important. What are we responsible for? Trust receipting, chasing rent arrears, bonds, and maintenance or inquiries. So you don't have to do a thing. Once you've done your checks, your entry reports, exit reports, then the rest is up to us. That's how it works. And you get to keep the assets and also the income coming in. That's a phenomenal cash flow, passive income. You don't have to do a thing. You sit there, money comes in. That's what you want, right? So, you know, I don't know if I think we have a few agents with us who have been former principals of agencies, and they will tell you the rent roll is gold. Because you're going to retire, you sell that. There's an active market for rent roll all the time, because, you know, it's very, very hard to acquire sometimes for a lot of people. Rent rolls, rental properties. For us, I don't know, because we charge no marketing and maybe it's slightly easier, but you still need that personal contact. Okay, so prospecting. You know, very easy for me. I know I've worked out a few things I've found. The thing about rental properties is this, right? OTMs are very, very, very important. All I have to do, and this is no secret, but not many people actually do this, is go to realestate.com. I can pick any suburb. I'll give you a good suburb. Surfers Paradise. I'll be in the Gold Coast on Friday. Why Surfers Paradise? Because it's a great area right now. It's tourism. There's tons and tons of apartments. There's Mantra, Wyndham, you name it. They don't own anything down there. What they do is they manage the hotel. So they approach landlords just like us, and they say to the landlord, look, I'll give you $2,000 a month. The rest we keep. We'll make sure you get that income. Leave everything up to us. That's Mantra's model. That's Wyndham's model. You know, these hotel managers own nothing. They don't own any of the properties. They just manage it for people. So I like Surfers Paradise because of tons and tons of empty apartments. I do a search on rentals in Surfers Paradise. All right. I reverse this. So right now, okay, so usually it's most relevant, but I'm choosing oldest to newest. These properties have been on the market for God knows how long. Right, I can go to Price Finder and RP Data and look at these, but all these properties, this one here is a phenomenal one to turn into a rental. You know, we can manage it for them. Right, we just have to beat the existing property manager, or we can choose another model and manage it as a hotel. Imagine this, because we obviously, you know, Leanna knows this. You know, we sent thousands of letters to people, thousands. You know, it's very, very easy for us to send letters to these people. All we have to do is look up where they live, and then say, let's say, dear Mr. and Mrs. Landlord, look, you know, your property is in the market for a while. Your existing property manager, obviously, look, you know, give us a try. We're a little bit different. We don't charge any marketing, but we can turn it into a rooming or a hotel accommodation for you. This is the likely income you're going to get. Give us a chance. Give us a call. We visit them or we docu-sign them. They sign a listing agreement and we have a rental property. It's that easy. It really is, because these people are desperate. Unlike sellers, sellers, you know this, Ron. Sellers, sometimes they're motivated, sometimes they're not. I can sell, but I'd like, you charge no marketing, so I'll give you a try. But, I need this number. If you don't get this number, I won't sell. Rental's a little bit different because these guys are desperate. They're sitting there vacant, man. They've got huge holding costs. They've got interest coming in. The bank's probably knocking their door. Where's our interest this month? Oh, it's empty. So they're desperate. If you offer something a little bit different, and I've done a bit of research, very few agencies offer hotel as well as rooming as well as a general tenancy, a straight let. Very few. I don't know why. I really don't.
You actually look after finding hotels. It's constantly looking after things people all the time. But that's something.
We have 2 hotel managers. Yeah. We have 2 hotel managers, and obviously, look, hotels are a little bit different. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. And the question is whether you can control that risk. So the risk has to be calculated. We get offers all the time for hotel management. Oh yeah, Paul, you're offering this, no marketing, great. I want this much money. And I said, hold on a second, just let me do my research first. Can we get that for you, number one, and still make money? Because we don't want to be running around, especially for the agents and the front end. You don't want to be running around like crazy and not make money for yourself. Because at the end of the day, landlords are landlords. They really don't care what you do with the property as long as maintained properly. They just want the money. They want the money. So at the end of the day, look, you just have to do that equation, that feasibility study. And what I do for hotel management, I put it on Airbnb and hotels.com, but I make it so when people book, they need our permission. I want to see how many inquiries I get a month. Because when we sign these contracts up, they're 6 months and 12 months, right? I've got to make sure we can make money. Everyone can make money. And it's a calculated risk. I'd rather that I go and do something else. And obviously landlords are, oh, yeah, Paul, I want this now. And, where's my contract? And hold on a second, give me some time to assess the feasibility. You know what I mean? It's a risk thing. And I think, obviously, this is your own business. You have to control that risk. It's a calculated risk you have to do. But I like Surfers Paradise because Surfers Paradise, obviously, is a good market. And you can do a lot of things in Surfers Paradise. You can do rooming, you can do hotels. There's tons of free apartments out there. There's tons of desperate landlords waiting for tenants, and a good property managers come along. But the idea, obviously, is to get trained up on property management, so you can be the front end. Most of the stuff that will happen as a risk is in the back end. The back end has the risk, the arrears, the maintenance. As long as you do your inspection reports correctly, entry, periodic, and exit, the rest is okay. Every now and then you might get a dispute. Oh, I think, my bond should be fully refunded because of this and this and this. And then the landlord says, no, I'm going to take this out of them. Well, if there's a dispute, as long as your paperwork's in check, let's go to the bond board. Let's go to the RTA. No problems. We have every leg to stand on. I have a lawyer in the back end that if you need some support, we can drop this guy in and they will support us. It's just things like that. It is litigious, but just pray to God and touch wood, we won't get taken to the bond board or the RTA. You don't want that. It drags your name through, and it's not cool. But that's okay. So, prospecting, OTM is huge for prospecting, massive for prospecting, because it's they very, very keen landlords. Another one that we've been experimenting, and I think it's worked quite well. I've got a IT guy that does automatic scripts for us. It's flatmates.com. Don't know if everyone knows flatmates.com, but flatmates.com is owned by realestate.com. So it's very, very popular with a lot of the student market, young professionals, that kind of stuff. Rooming usually. But the thing about flatmates.com, people don't really realize is flatmates.com are usually advertised by the landlords themselves.
Okay.
unlike realestate.com, where it's mostly agents, mostly only agents can go on realestate.com. On flatmates.com, it's the actual owners of the properties. Now imagine this, right? Think of this as a concept. If I can get a program set up, which we've already got, and I can message every single person in a particular suburb, the landlord that is, and I can say, blah, 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 I want to help you with this, I've got a college or whatever, and I can bring some students and that kind of stuff, right? Would you mind if we have a quick meetup? Firstly, the landlord will be saying, oh, Mike, yeah, of course. I want students. I want young professionals. I need to pay my bills. I got a spare room in the backyard. I just need that filled. Yeah, if you can help me, I'll pay your first week, no problems. Because these guys are having a tough time finding people, right? Because flatmates.com is also very, very competitive. So what I do usually, I take Surfers Paradise again. So it can happen in every single state. It's very, very cool. You'll see. So you can do rooms flatmates.com also has whole properties for rent too. But, all these people that we're about to see are usually, so these are the, I'm looking for rooms. Sorry. So I'm going to Surfers Paradise. I'm looking for a room. And it will come back with a whole bunch of listings. And these listings, believe it or not, are by the landlords. It's a direct way to contact the landlords, even without prospecting. Unlike for sales, I have to jump hoops. Oh yeah, I know the agent, but the agent obviously wouldn't talk to me. I got to find out who the landlord is or who the owners are, and I got to visit them and door knock and that kind of rubbish. Here, I don't even need RP data. I just go, excuse me, Danielle, you got a property here at blah blah blah, right? Look, I could maybe offer you something a bit different. You're having some time trying to find, some difficulty trying to find your rentals. Can we sit down and have a coffee? Meet you face to face, something like that. Even if they don't want to use you as a service, it's a point of contact. Because, oh my God, you actually own this house. I have your number now. I have your mobile. I have your email address. One day I will call you and ask you, hey, do you have any more properties you want to rent or do you want to sell your property? Imagine a script that automatically goes out to all these people. Very powerful stuff. And that's this is data collection. This is what I do. And you can see it owned by the owner. You can see the owner's picture right there. Very amateur, right? That's the owner right there taking her picture. Shocking. It's so shocking. I don't know how she's going to get tenant like that. But
you do get a statement of this person. The charge, would it be one off or?
It depends on the landlord. The landlord might agree to pay you 1 week plus CST, which I always try to negotiate, which is not bad money. It's $375 per room. If she has 4 rooms or something in this house, $380. If she has 4 rooms in the house, that's $1,200. $1,200 in one hit. I mean, obviously you're going to bring the tenants, but it's not hard to bring the tenants. One of the things that I haven't really talked about is these guys can only get on flatmates.com. They can't get on domain, they can't get on realestate.com, they can't get on rent.com, they can't get on homely.com because it has to be agents.
Really?
100%.
What about you? They sell their own house?
Tubby, for sale, I'll talk about in a second. For sale by owner, they go through another vehicle, a company who does that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we've been thinking about that actually. We had a meeting recently about that, and obviously, look, I think for sale by owner is a great market. For us, it's a great lead generator. Because imagine if they come to us and they say, look, I'll switch direct, you can offer no marketing. You offer $100 to rent your place. That's crazy. That's very, very cheap. I'd like to use you. And obviously what they do is they try to do it themselves. If they can't rent it, who do they come to next? Us. If they can't sell it, then they come to next? Us. Try and sell it yourself and see what happens. I guarantee you it's not as effective as us. But they can do it themselves, not a problem. Anyway, that's another thing. Gumtree, I've been telling a lot of people this, but I don't know if people are doing it. But, you can set up alerts on Gumtree. Like very, very good alerts. I was talking to another person this morning, and I said to her, look, you can set alerts on the council's websites for DA approvals and developments, because you can get alerts in your area. If something's approved or lodged as a DA or a BA, they will email you. And, I was telling her, look, if someone is lodging a DA for a granny flat, possibly, they're trying to rent that property or something like that. I think a DA approval means possibly a sale or rental. I don't know. Anyway, on Gumtree, there's Gumtree is huge, man. You just look online and there's tons of rental properties. What's interesting about that for rentals? Yes, there's some for rentals, but there's also some that are for sale. Not for sale. Okay, so next. For rent by owners and for sale by owners. So these are the ones I want to talk about. These are huge. So if I go to Property Now, which is a major website, you'll see. So, in Australia, so when I grew up in the US, it's quite big in the US. Selling properties themselves, trying to cut the agent. That's fine. That's fine. That's not a problem. We've been thinking about this. How do we capture that market? Because it's a big market. It's getting bigger, and with lots of Purple Bricks and all these other low commission companies, the company, the industry is changing, right? Changing. How do we capture this market? I suppose there's nothing stopping people selling or renting stuff by themselves. Property Now is one example. There's quite a few of these websites. Cubbi.com, CUBBI, for sale by owner, for rent by owner. There's quite a few of these websites. We've been working on a project that's going to be launched within the next month called Oxbridge Direct. And the idea is, we will use that as a lead generator because people will ultimately say to us, we don't like agents. We hate agents. My last agent is rubbish. I'm going to sell the property myself. We had this example. And I said, fine, not a problem. I can offer you that service. Right? Because I hate agents anyway. There's no cannibalization or competition. All I have to do is beat that price. Because these guys are price sensitive now. If you're using an agent, or if you're selling by yourself, you're price sensitive. If you're using, not just the Purple Bricks, but if you're using Purple Bricks and charging $3,000 commission or $6,000 commission, it's $8,000 now. That's right. Yeah, so Purple Bricks is even, suffering because they realize it's not sustainable in the future. But you think about this, right? These guys, and you can go online and look at the listings, and these guys are for rental and for sales by owners. So obviously, you can put an inquiry in, and they will send you back the details of the owners, and you call them. That's another processing. So property rentals is great for prospecting. Much easier than sales prospecting. As I said before, if you get a few of these, man, you're only on passive income. You don't have to work your backside off every single month on the list and sell properties, because the key to building a passive income is sitting there and getting money in. That's what retirees do, right? And I think it's a good idea to start building this base, not just because of passive income, for lead generation too in the future. Letter drops. Look, we've been experimenting with this. Letter drops. Letter drops work in areas. It depends. In some suburbs, we get 2,500 letter drop in Ascot. Ascot's a very expensive area, like I don't know, maybe like Vaucluse in Sydney or Fitzroy or something like that in Melbourne. Very expensive area. They don't care, because they get thousands of letter drops, and they're a bit pretentious. They go, who the hell is this in the bid, right? Because they're not desperate to sell. They've got money. Who the hell are you? All right, I'm going to use a premier agent. Letter drops work in places where it's desperate. So I think Ingolf is Ingolf. I'm going to use you for example. Townsville, the Townsville prices have really suffered, and people are desperate to sell. And we're about to do this with Ingolf. If I send out 1,000 letter drops, cover the whole suburb, I guarantee you people will reply because they're desperate. I'll talk to anyone, man. You got a letter drop? Yeah. You want to sell? Yeah, sure. I'll talk to you because I'm desperate. You know, and letter drop works in suburbs that are different. If I'm desperate, it works. In places where Vaucluse, you've got money, letter drops, they just throw it away because they get tons and tons of it anyway, and they're not desperate to sell. That's what we found. We send out thousands of letters, and I get the response rate back, and I can see, right? Direct letters, same thing. We send out little direct letters each week. You know, again, same thing. You know, we try to address it to the person, so it makes it more personable. Sometimes we write on it, we sign it ourselves. Handwritten notes is another one. You know, different tricks.
I think there's a lot in the signature.
In the name, the signature. I tell people this all the time. I have a profile on the back, and I say, look, you know, my background is this, you know, and that just increases the response rate, hopefully. Door knocking. So we've got a team of door knockers now. I think at the current moment, door knocking has been working the best for us in terms of leads. Because door knocking, especially the people we've hired, you know, I pay them some money, and what they do is they go around, and you can do this yourself. There's no secret. I've got maybe 25 Airtasker ads in different suburbs. I pay them $100 for 50 houses, $2 per lead. I say, go and do this. I'll give you the number. I'll give you the driving map. I'll give you the addresses. Just door knock and do this. Take a picture just to prove you've done it, and I'll pay you. I did this in Wollongong, just because I did this in Wollongong recently. Wollongong's a really tough suburb to hit. There's 1,000 agents in Wollongong, Illawarra, in New South Wales, and one of our agents is having a tough time getting listings. So I said, let's try this, and it's worked brilliantly. It worked brilliantly because door knocking is personable.
Door knocking is very hard in Brisbane, Queensland, Melbourne, and Sydney. It's a lot easier.
There's nothing said about the presentation of the people that are going to door knock or how they'll present themselves to the company.
So, I don't know Airtasker. Airtasker. Yeah. So people bid. So one of our agents, Jamie's just online, but she's in North Lakes. I said to her, look, we've got a few people that are interested in door knocking for you. Take a pick. Who do you want? Sit down with them, interview them, and then give them a task that they know exactly what they need to do. So I told Jamie, look, you know, go and do a driving map, do this, do that, find the addresses, give them the addresses, give them the template, print it off for them on a paper, turn up casually, smart casual, that kind of stuff. You know, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. And, you know, there's a few things we're trying to tweak with, like, you know, I found, for example, like the gender thing. So people wouldn't necessarily, so like a guy, for example, would talk to a lady all the time. but a lady sometimes wouldn't talk to a lady. There's little things like little tweaks, you know, little generalizations we found, and the age factor as well. Like if I'm an elderly lady and you're an elderly guy, you know, I could talk to you all day. But if you're an elderly lady and you're a young agent and you start blabbering all about, and then, sorry, I'm at no time, bye. You know, because you can talk about bowling or what, I don't know, what people talk about. Yeah, so I've been trying to find, and it depends on the suburb. Like in a really established neighborhood, you need someone that's got that experience.
I'll be honest, I've done door knocking a lot. So, you know, every suburb going from Brisbane up north, every suburb, the community is just a little bit different in every suburb. You know what I mean? Yeah, it just depends on the community.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like we've been sort of tweaking with this, and I suppose, you know, I mean, the size we are right now, you know, people are taking notice, and obviously we need to be a little bit innovative. I think the key still is prospecting. You know, it doesn't matter which agency you're from. If the agency doesn't provide support for prospecting, it's very difficult. I've seen, no offense to Ray White, but I've seen Row 8. I don't know how they survive. I really don't. You know, it's got 5 listings. They sell 10 properties a year with 6 people. I really don't know, because the cost must be astronomical to maintain an office. Anyway, so I've been experimenting with these things here, which are, you know, we put on handles and stuff like that, you know, hopefully to get more leads. All right, so this is where it gets a bit nitty gritty. So listing documentation. Here we go. Different states have different legislation of listing. Now, the real training comes in what to do in which state and what property. So all the states are essentially pretty much the same, right? It's just different timing. So Victoria, for example, you know, sometimes you have to list for 24 months, you know, a minimum 12 months. notice period one month. So in other words, before taking a listing of another agent, most states have a 1 month grace period. In other words, you need to inform your previous property manager, I'm going to change now, or by mutual consent. Sometimes they say, oh, don't do hotel management. Yeah, let these guys do it. We had book Bowen Hill, for example. The previous property manager said to us, just take it because we can't do it as a hotel management. If the owners want a better return, go for it. I said, fine. We'll talk about it the very next day because they're happy with it. So I'm gonna do it quickly. Is just to 2 states because I think don't have any people from New South Wales here today, but New South Wales and Victoria are very similar. Quickly, so all the forms are on your RealWorks REI form. We have subscription in all states. In Victoria, I think Tony knows about this. I gave you access to REA form as well. So basically what you do is you go to, there should be a template already set up. I think someone's been screwing the templates, but that's okay. We do, So in Queensland, at least, the listing documentation is called Form 6. So what we do is we add a new form, and then you'll see. So you just have to type, I don't know, property management or something like that. You'll see in your states. They're called different things in different states. So this one here, right? PO Form 6 Residential Property Management Schedule. You double click on that. You enter an address. Just put an address, 16A property. Matter. And where you go. Okay, so all the states are very similar. So in Victoria, New South Wales, you have exactly the same thing here. Client name, obviously, address, suburb, form, email address, same thing. We are a real estate agent. You tick that. It should be pre-populated with your state license number, that kind of stuff, address. So I'll go this very quickly. Hi. And then also your property address. So your property address, description address, suburb, lot number, title reference, plan, etc. You can find this on RP Data. We've done this before. Similar in Victoria and in New South Wales. It's a letting. Continuous letting. There's actually an example already complete online, fully filled out. So it's probably the best way to learn these. But you go through this document, you list the property as a letting, you put the amount in, but it's probably easier if I show an existing example. Okay. If I just find, I might have a property somewhere. There's the existing properties like this one here. Oh, it's Ingolf. I won't touch yours, sorry, Ingolf. I'll do one of them. Anyway, I'll do this one. There's existing Form 6 online. So this one, for example, this is a property we listed in Spring Hill. Business property, yeah. So she's very keen to convert to hotel management, blah, 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 property address, settings, etc. Rental income, there's just things you have to write in there. Rental income may vary depending on supply because we can't control, unlike a sales where they want a particular number. It's just things that these are best practice from the REI. Just things you have to put in refers to attached property management schedule, etc. And these are all in other states too. Advertising costs as per as cost per list. As I said before, you can charge them nothing. What I often do as a listing presentation for property management, I love to cross out the cost and go 0 because I'm doing a special favor. In fact, I don't mind not on paying because I don't get charged for realestate.com. And I love that because they go, I'm a special man. I'm getting it for nothing, Anyway, so they sign, we sign, you sign. And this part here, look, I know in sales, people say this part isn't that important because in property management, it's essential. You must have this part because we are protected by these guys. So we are members in every single state. These guys will help us if there's a problem. In property management, yes, the money is not as good, but it's passive income, and it's about numbers, right? But if something goes wrong, this is where you come. Because people will say, look, show me the original listing documentation you have with the landlord. You know, what was agreed to, what wasn't agreed to. If landlord starts complaining, you say to them, hey, you know what? You gave me 2 weeks authority. All right. So in other words, if the rental is $300 a week, you give me $600 a week for me to do something, maintenance, repairs, without your permission. I did that. I went ahead and I fixed the garden or something, you know. And then if the landlord says, you know what, this is rubbish because no authorization was given, and we said, look, this is the original documentation. You gave us 2 weeks authorization without your consent to do repairs and maintenance. It's on paper, black and white. What are you going to do? And I said, look, you put it in a very polite way, of course, you know, say, look, you know, and that kind of stuff. So this is a real example that we did. So I charged a 16.5% commission. It's 100%. It's a hotel, man. It's a hotel. This hotel makes 20%. Yeah, I know. It's a phenomenal hotel. It's right in the city center here. But you know, you can do the calculation in terms of income. Right? The hotel makes about $2,500, $3,000 a month on a rental, on a straight let. They'll be lucky to make $350 a week. You know, that's the difference. So even after paying all the expenses, you're still up on top. And this number is on the gross. It's not on the net. We take the fees first, and then the rest comes off. Yeah, you know, we charge 16.5% on the 2,400, not on the 1,500 what they get at the end. Yeah, 15% plus GST. There's another model where we charge them, we give them a fixed number, and then we obviously take the rest, but that's a risk. You gotta make sure that you can actually make money on that, because what happens is if you're giving the landlord $2,000 a month, and the vacancy rate increases to, I don't know, 50%, 60%, you're screwed, because you have to pay them. The person that signs the form literally has to fork out money to pay the landlord by law. If they don't do it, they will sue you. They'll sue you in court, and you will definitely lose. You'll have to pay the lawyer's cost plus this. You know, so I'm saying is, you know, look, property management is great, but you know, if an owner approaches and says, I want $2,000 a month and everything on top you keep, sounds good, but you got to do assessment. You got to make sure you're feasible. I'd rather lose that and pick another one up somewhere else, because I don't want to be paying $500 a month, you know, gap. We pay twice a month, and this is the same for Victoria and New South Wales, just different trust accounts. These are very standard things. But in your REI for the other states, we have exactly the same completed listing documentation. I don't charge anything here. You know, other agencies does all kinds of crazy charges, man. You know, I don't see why you have to charge $35. For doing a contract, it takes us 2 seconds to do it. You copy it, you change the date, and you send it, and that's $35. That's ridiculous to me, right? I think that's a point of difference. We charge you nothing. If you want to charge them something, go for it. That's yours. But the point of difference is, I think it's ridiculous. But a lot of the agents, that's how they make money, as you know, Ron, right? That's how they make money. They charge ridiculous fees. Another one, repair fee, just by calling a plumber. The plumbing is $200 itself, plus another $35 for my time to run as a plumber. But isn't that your job? Inspection. Look, inspection takes 2 seconds. Trust me. Attached to this particular software, there's actually a app called REI Inspect. You'll find that down there somewhere. It's called REI Inspect, and that's attached to the real estate body of that state. What it is, it's an online inspection tool. Yeah, so it's pretty easy to do. So we get a setup. Sorry, I think it's here. Security. So it's called REI Inspect. And what it is, it allows you to take pictures of the property. It's called entry report. There's 3 reports you have to do. It's the same in every single state. Entry report, a inspection. So we will notify you when it's time to do a periodic inspection, and a periodic inspection is quite important. And then obviously an exit. And that's all done by this tool. It's an app. You download it. It's free for us. You take a picture. You write some comments on there to describe the property. And then obviously that provides as a paper trail. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for the documentation. I don't want to spend too much time, but obviously you can look through the example and you can work out, they're pretty self-explanatory. Water rates. In all states, you cannot charge people water rates if it's not separately metered. It's just a regulation, and we should maybe have another training on just the nuances of property management. There's many, many things you have to worry about. Things like in rooming accommodation, you must have a lock on every single door. You must have a smoke alarm compliance certificate before you move in. You must have a pool certificate compliance before you move in. Because if you don't do it and someone dies in the property, you're going to prison, buddy. That's the problem, So these things are very, very important. But obviously, it's our job to check that. And then does the tenant pay for this? In rooming accommodations, the tenant does not pay. This one's a hotel, remember? So obviously, the tenant does not pay. The landlord pays for everything. And then you sign. Insurance is another big one. So they have to fill in the insurance policy just to make sure, body corp, etc. Things like that, privacy statement, and then signature. I've run that really quickly. But there's an example in all the states, which you can see. Fees, charge your discretion, depends. Your commission could be anywhere from 5%, 8% for a general tenancy, straight let, or hotel management, you can charge anything you want, 20% if you can. In some places, landlords are really, really desperate. Really, really, really desperate. Just like sales, you can charge 15% commission on a sale from an apartment in the city center because no one can sell it. And we could do it as a guarantee or whatever. And that's it. I wanted to stick to an hour. So this is recorded. Sorry to be a bit brief, but the rest, I suppose, we can learn by example. If you got a rental property, the first step, obviously, is to see the owner. And I think we've done many, many things, to help you prospect, like flatmates.com, for example. I think it's a great. No one's doing it. I don't know. I don't understand why, but it's probably just innovative. No one's doing flatmates.com. No one. Because you're directly contacting the owners, and these are the owners of the properties, anywhere. This is a direct source, even without prospecting. Forget knocking the doors. The owners is in front of you. Contact them. And these guys are desperate to get a tenant. We can help you, no problem. Are there any questions from anyone? Quickly. Guys on the phone, maybe. Tony, Rudolph, and Daniel.
Quickly, if a flat owner responds to you, I'm happy to have you guys to help me design our flat rate. And where are you going to find the flat rate? So you're going to list that property on USA.com, and so someone approaches, I want to see this flat rate. That's how it works.
Oh, sorry. The question was, if the landlord responds to your flatmate ad, how are you going to find the flatmate for them? I wish I had the internet. What happens to the internet? Doesn't matter. So anyway, as I said before, flatmate.com is great. It's great. I never look down on Flatmate. People think, flatmate.com, it's poor tenants and people that don't have money and stuff like that, room accommodation. I never think that, because I think flatmate.com is a great source of future buyers, because these guys will eventually buy something, and obviously future sales and future rentals. So here's a classic example, right? I'm going to maybe use another state. So I'm going to use Townsville. Ingolf is on the phone. So Townsville has gone through some really bad times recently, and you've got some really, really desperate people trying to rent this. It's quite a lot, right? There's quite a lot of properties out there, and these guys are the landlords. I guarantee they'll be the landlords. I don't think any agents use flatmates.com. There's no agents do rooming. It's perfectly legal. There's nothing wrong with rooming. I've done the research, and my lawyers back me up on this. It's just a little bit more cumbersome. Like sharing accommodation, furniture, that kind of. It's going to be a lot of times fully furnished. It's crappy furniture anyway. So if this guy, I approach this guy, I don't know what this is, maybe Ingolf can help us, but, this guy here, wants to rent this place out. I contact him. I say, look, I'll meet you. I say, you're currently probably only on flatmates.com, Gumtree, and that's it. Maybe Craigslist or some of the crappy website. We can go to realestate.com. We can go to Domain. We can go to RIT.com. I can put it on a CRM. We've actually done this for another rentals. I think Ethan's gone through the inquiries on realestate.com for rooming accommodation, has gone there and taken tenants to these places based on the inquiry of realestate.com. Landlords cannot go on realestate.com. Landlords cannot go on realestate.com or rent.com or homelead.com or domain.com. All these websites we go, they just cannot. And that's our advantage. Plus, we have people that are looking for properties anyway, all the time, constantly. So I think flatmates.com, as I said, we met an IT guy. He's got this algorithm, which is really cool, which is basically massively sending to people on flatmates.com with a message customized to the particular owner. This technology, that beats any prospect. You can knock on 10 doors a day. I can send out 1,500 messages to flatmates.com. It's a numbers game. If I get, 50 responses, that's 50 people in the database. If they don't want to list with, that's okay. I will keep your number in the database. Because these guys will give you their phone numbers. Because we have a subscription to flatmates.com, and I can see the phone numbers of the landlord.
And is it okay to use that number for future contact?
Well, if I contact them, they respond. Yeah, sure. They can always unsubscribe. Yeah, fine. Yeah. So Tony's not funny. Tony knows that we have a partnership with a guy in Melbourne, has a course at door knocking, and I was down there recently. I think the general experience is the same. Calling is becoming less effective because number one, people hate calls. Number two, it's always a home number, not a mobile number. Number three, everyone's on a DNC. People are really, really annoyed. People call them all kinds of solar, steak knives, you name it. Selling all kinds of things under the sun, right? Especially real estate agents. I am from Ray White. Oh, hang up. Sorry. Stop it. So I think calling, I think has a limited use. But it's useful if you can actually get the lead. But we are finding that door knocking is the best. But the idea is how do we scale it? And then, as I said before, the thing that we have on Airtasker right now is working phenomenally well. It's very cheap for us. These guys are selected by the local agent. So Jamie's example, like I said, on Northlake, she met the agent, she picked the agent, she said, I like him, he's good, gave him the brochure, he did it 50. Boom. Done.
How does it work? You hire the airhouse guy, and then the airhouse guy add an agent to talk to the owner if you want to the agent.
They have a script, yeah.
That's so basically tell us to represent the local agent in the area and open them up a little bit so you can try and get the agent in the door.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Introduce the local agent. Right. Then go from there.
Okay.
The thing about letter drops and about giving out letters is most letter drops are in a letterbox. Mm-hmm. Bundle up with all kinds of crappy advertising and your competitors' advertising.
Seeing face-to-face.
Seeing face-to-face. And in fact, if not there, you leave that leaflet under the front door. If you have a door handle thing, you put it on the door handle. They're bound to see it. Oh my God, this guy's a little bit different. And then what we've done is we've done on the actual leaflet, we've actually signed it personally. So I asked Jamie, sign this personally. Sign it. Right? Put something on there. I'm your local agent in handwriting, in blue ink. It's like, what the hell is this guy? They've actually been here to my house on a personalized letter, signed it. I'm going to give this guy a call. It works. It works 100%. It works 100%. It's that competitive advantage. And people don't realize, door knocking is very successful, but people are lazy, man. Who wants to door knock? Leona did this. How would you feel about that, right? It's embarrassing sometimes. But, the people we've got, a lot of people want to do it. I'll give you an example. In Wollongong at the moment, the guy we've hired to door knock, they have a business, a carpet cleaning business. So for them, it's just one extra brochure, man. They go around, they go do it anyway. I say to them, look, here's the addresses. You know, your local agent's Jessica. Speak to Jessica. They met up, and then go for it.
With solar, they've got PR teams that just have got 5 people every day that got targets and they go out to the suburb at a time.
Go for it. I think in this industry, man, you've got to be a little bit more innovative. You know, I think the market's slowing down. And, you know, I've been reading all kinds of doom and gloom, all that kind of stuff. But I think when it slows down, it benefits agencies like us. Because who has the money to pay $3,000? You know, you come across as LJ Hooker, I don't have any cash for you, man, because I'm about to lose money in my house. It benefits people like us because people are very, very price sensitive now. If I get slaughtered on the price, I might as well pay nothing. You can absorb the marketing if you can sell it. So I think, you know, property transactions very, very good. There's always going to be properties. But the thing about property managing, in summary, is a passive income, as I said before. You know, and I think a lot of people I've been speaking to and calling me and said, Paul, man, I'm struggling to survive, man. I got to pay my car and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, where's my money coming from? I haven't made a sale. I can't make a sale. That's cool. Not a problem, right? The thing is, property management gives you that passive income. Gives you that passive. And people a lot of times rubbish like, oh, I don't want to property manage. It's rubbish. You know, I don't want to deal with tenants. You know, I don't want to deal with crazy landlords. Well, you don't have to. All you have to do is do 3 reports, right? And we're responsible for the rest. We're responsible for the rest. And that report, just make sure when the listing documentation comes back, I'll send it through Think Conveyancing. They will check it. Because that documentation, the listing documentation for property management, is even more important than sales, 100%. So if something goes wrong, that is what you rely on. Black and white with the landlord, especially the landlord. And also the tenancy agreement with the tenant as well. It's also quite important. But, you know, we have a standard template DocuSign. We just send it out. It's all pre-filled in. So we're trying to reduce that risk. You know, but, you know, in property management, it's about risk. It's about risk control. Not many things go wrong that often, but I've heard some terrible stories. You know, and landlords generally complain about. I was in Melbourne recently. I think Tony was there too. We spoke to a guy. His name is Simon. He's got a property. He said to me, look, I hate property managers. None of my property managers can do their job properly. I hate them. I'm going to manage myself now. I said, what's the problem? Oh, they have 250 properties they manage. And then I think they named LJ Hooker, I think. LJ Hooker's down in some suburb. The property management deal was only 21. But 250 properties they're managing. They forget about me. Sometimes tons of mistakes on the statement. I don't get paid on time. And I said to him, look, you know how many property managers we have? We have your agent locally, and he or she might manage 1. Yours. Because our model is different. Our model is we separate the agent, the full licensee agent at the front end, and the back end is covered by us. That's the difference. And that model works because you are the main contact for that particular client. And we're not going to contact the client unless, of course, you tell us to do so, or there's something going on that's an emergency. Any other questions I can answer? Anyway, just a quick insight into property management. It's a great way to make money. Great way to make money. The prospecting side is much easier than sales. Look, 10, 15 properties, you're looking at $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month, much better than working at Coles for $20 an hour. Passive income.
Oh.
Yeah. Any questions?
Are we able to grab this PowerPoint?
PDF? Yeah, PDF. Yeah, it's been recorded as well, man. Is that Tony?
Oh,
it's
sweet.
been recorded
Yep,
as well.
beautiful. Yep.
So yeah, on Google Drive, you can find that on Google Drive. Where? Here's Google Drive. To access that, you go to Agents. You go to your setup here, resources, and you access it through here. It's all here, number 7.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and that'll be on there as a recorded MP4 file. Okay. And no any questions? Any comments? I don't know. It's just something we've been working on. Look, you know, I think our job is to get listings for people, make money for people. You know, we're trying to distinguish ourselves as a little bit different. When I started, and Raj knows about this, and we always said, man, you survive this industry, you gotta have listings. Most of the agents I met you, maybe for Orient, for example. We have so many applicants, and I asked them a question. I always look at personality because to sell a property isn't that hard. If I give you a listing, You go on Saturday, just sell the property. Not that hard. But the model's a little bit different. Right? We spend tons of money on prospecting. Tons and tons of money.
Oh no, it makes you a great agent too, eventually.
Yeah. But eventually they're your own listings, right? You keep that for yourself, and obviously the job for you is to manage that for the landlord. No? Cool. So anyway, thanks for your time today, and I will put this online. And any questions, please, really. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Call me after.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Tony, thanks, Ingolf. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye bye.